I'd like to call this meeting to order at 5:33. We'll start with roll call attendance. Joseph Bryant.
Here.
Josh Muchart. Sarah Feeney.
Here.
Gary Epp.
Here.
Renee Mankey.
Here.
Jessica Evenson.
Here.
Nick Shuey.
Here.
Renee Schuyler.
Here.
Sharon Jonathan. I'm here. Patrick Stanton and Dr. Shaver are excused this week, and we're just waiting for Brittany and John. Let's go ahead and jump into the approval of the agenda. Any additions or anything? Nick,
I move to approve the agenda for April 15th, 2015.
there's a motion on the table. Is there a second? Renee seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Agenda approved. Okay, we can go on to approval of minutes. Give me a couple minutes to go ahead and look over the minutes from the April 8th meeting. Go ahead and chime in any corrections you may have. Looks like we all made motions this last week. I entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the April 8th meeting as is. Jessica,
So moved.
is there a second? Gary seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Minutes approved. Now we go to reports. I have nothing to report.
We received the approval for the latest release of supplemental funds request, so we'll be getting the spring balance.
The Observer and the Pulse, the Society for Professional Journalists Regional Conference. Fortunately, kind of. I also do have noticed that Dean Swagger and Associate Dean Champagne will be coming, I believe, I have to remember, the May, whatever the first or second meeting is in May, to speak to us about the funding of the previous, I don't remember what Bob Ford's previous position, Campus Life Director position, which has been S&A funded because we do have the stipulation with our funding that if a position that we fund goes vacant for 6 months, that the funds revert back to S&A, and we are at the 6-month point. So they're going to be coming forward to the committee to talk about that. So I want me to let you all know. That's all I have.
Communications received. I've received none. We already talked about one again. Now we open up for public comment. First call. This time, is there any public comment? Seeing none, we can go to old business and we can jump into supplemental funding request voting for supplemental funding request 1520 for the Sophie annual meeting in the amount of $2,836. The table is now for discussion. I think that was the other group that amended. Nick,
May I ask a question, Gary? Were you able to receive the $500 for the box funds?
Our senator is finding out.
Okay.
Nick,
I move to approve the amount of $2,836 for supplemental funding request 1520.
there's a motion on the table. Is there a second? Jessica seconds. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion approved. Now we can go into new business, which is supplemental funding request. The supplemental funding request 1522 for the Student Fashion Association annual field experience for the amount of $10,000. Alright, you'll have 10 minutes to present and 10 minutes for questions.
Awesome. All right. Hi, I'm Andrea Eklund. I'm the professor and program coordinator of the Apparel Textile Merchandising Program. I'm the Student Fashion Association advisor also. So I was part of helping put this field experience together. I also assured all the students were prepared, where we were going, where we were staying, and that this was really going to be an enriching experience for all the students involved, no matter their interest area. We have a big variety of students in the club, so that really was one of our goals, was to make sure it was very inclusive on what the students could get out of it for their interest area, their major, what they want to do once they graduate, and what they could bring back here to Central. So 21 students attended the actual event. So we had a variety of students. We had apparel, textile, merchandising majors and minors, apparel design minors. We had some business, psychology, and education majors. So it was a variety of students from different areas. Our goal was to really focus on the diversity of the options and of the experience of the locations we were going, and also New York City in general, because it is just such a wealth of cultural experience that you really can't get, really, in my perspective, anywhere. Doesn't really compare to going to New York City and really engrossing yourself in that culture. So that was a really important part of this trip specifically. So we were there during spring break. We left Sunday morning at 2 a.m. From Ellensburg, took a shuttle over to Seattle, got there Sunday. They had the afternoon to kind of get situated and acclimate themselves to the neighborhood. We stayed on the Upper West Side in an actual neighborhood. We wanted them to have that experience, not just staying in a touristy area. That was really important, so they can kind of see how actual New Yorkers live. We were there all week long. We had tours on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. There was an optional one on Thursday. They had a cultural day most of the day on Thursday and Friday, and we left on Saturday. Learning objectives. So really the big part of this was really identifying the different jobs there is in the apparel industry. There's so many different options, and not just for apparel majors. So that was something that was really important at that time. What professional training is required for people in these various positions? How do they get to those positions was really important. And what academic preparation can they actually do once they return here at Central? So specific classes that may not be in their major that they could take to help them prepare themselves more for these actual positions. Internships. So most of the students here at Central do internships. We highly encourage them as professors for every and all students to do internships. So that was something that a lot of them wanted to make contacts. They wanted to network with professionals to get potential internship locations, because there are so many options in New York City, which is a great thing. They also networking, so just networking in general. A lot of the people we met with, we have all their contact information. If we have questions or if we want advice, they're totally there for us, which everyone we met with was very open and willing to talk to us, have us contact them, call them, email them at a later time, which is really nice. And then again, the cultural diversity of the trip was really important. So that I really emphasized to the students all the time, getting out there and seeing stuff and exploring the different parts of Manhattan and also the various boroughs around New York City. All right, so participants in their major, the big part for if they are a major, it gave them insight into the apparel industry. So how did these professionals get to where they were today? What path did they take? That kind of information is really beneficial to a lot of students. So, you know, they know, all right, when I get out of school, this is where I might start, and these are the steps I can take to actually get to a higher position, because we met with people in various positions, which was really nice in general. The inner workings of different companies. So we met with a really big variety of companies. So seeing how they all work differently, how the different departments work together and their processes was really helpful. what success looks like in the industry. So what do successful people do? How do they put themselves out there? How do they display themselves? What skills and attributes do they have? Seeing that from actual professionals is very impactful to a lot of different students. And then a lot of them were able to see the concepts that we're learning in classes here at Central, not just fashion classes or apparel classes, management classes and psychology classes and math classes, where they're actually being used on the job. So it was helpful for them to actually see things being used. Non-major classes. So this, again, it's very beneficial. It's not just for their major. They were able to see all the basic and breadth classes that all students have to take. How is that going to benefit them in the actual work field? So they could see where they would be using those classes. Also the knowledge that they learned from this field experience they can bring back to those classes. So it really showed that connection between those general basic and breadth classes and the actual people that they were meeting with and working with, how people are working together, and really how every job is a collaboration, which is something that we really emphasize here at Central, is working together, being teamwork, and everybody pulling their weight. They really saw that collaborative effort when they talked to people, because everyone emphasized being a team member and working well with others. And then having that shared identity. So even if we don't have much in common, how can we come together and have some sort of shared identity and in a diverse environment? So you have all these different people coming from all over into this one workplace. How can we work together to be successful and to really find some sort of way that we're going to connect together? So how are they going to use this information outside of just classes and across the university? So really they learned a lot about, again, I keep saying cultural stuff, but that really was a big part of the trip, was that cultural inclusiveness. New York City, you're immersed in it all the time. So many of them went out and they explored different areas and they saw art and design. They got all the sorts of inspiration. They were exposed to all these different things. This is all stuff that they're going to bring back to students in various classes and different organizations that they are a part of on campus. So it really is bringing that information back and sharing their experiences. Also just the experience of traveling. For a lot of these students, this was the first time they had traveled. So it was a great way for them to experience that and get that travel bug, which I think all students should get at some time in their life. So this was a great way for them to have that and then come back and share it with other students. So their career paths, really again, those professions, what professions are available out there? So there are accountants in every single apparel company. There are the business side of it, there's the creative side of it, there's the artistic side of it. There's something for everybody, and it really showed the participants that. And again, they can bring that back and share that with other students here on campus, the options that there are out there. Speaking with seasoned professionals. So we spoke with a huge variety of people, from managers to designers to visual merchandisers to, I mean, a huge variety of people at every company we went to. And again, they're seeing that vast array of education that they're getting here at Central. How is it going to be applied, and what information should I really be taking away, which was really nice. So we can keep going. These are the different places we actually went on the tour. So Giovanni Evening Wear, it's one of the top evening wear retailers in the United States. So we actually went to their showroom. Nanette Lepore, again, is a top actual designer. She does all of her production in New York City. So we were actually able to see production. It's all made in the USA. We were able to see that production, which was amazing for students to actually see where stuff is made, how stuff was produced, the different people coming together. Ross, so you think Ross, like we know Ross, their buying and merchandising and allocation team is in New York City. So we met with different people, and that again it's all about math. So these were very math number people. M&S Schallberg, so they are one of the oldest companies in New York City, and they make handmade flowers. And they do all custom stuff. So if a designer wants a flower made for something, so like Coach, they do a lot of Disney stuff. They do all sorts of different things. And again, they all make it there in-house. So going and being able to see that facility and how they do things. Kleinfeld, so if anyone's ever seen Say Yes to the Dress, we went there. That was amazing, the most beautiful place I've ever been. And just to see their process and how they work with customers. First to Print is a printing company. They do a lot of prints for designers, samples, things like that. Raffaella is a women's brand, so we went to their headquarters and so talked to I think she was a merchandiser. Laundry, that's another brand. Tommy Hilfiger, we went to their flagship store and had a tour. That's where all the celebrities go. Star Branding, so Star Branding was started by Tommy Hilfiger, Andy Hilfiger, and another gentleman. Andy Hilfiger came and gave us the tour. He was the most gracious person I've ever met. He had his coffee and was just walking us around and introducing us to everyone, so that was a really neat experience. He works with a lot of celebrities creating their own brands and lines. Jean Accessories, so this was a company that actually licensed different stuff. And then we all went to the Metropolitan Museum of Art together. Rules. So this is just an example. So this wasn't just like, yeah, let's go to New York. There was strict rules. There were curfews. It was very laid out specific when they had to be back, where they could go, where they could not go. They had to check in. Every officer had specific students reporting to them. They had to report to them multiple times a day. Where are they going? What are they doing? Who are they with? Because we wanted to make sure that they were safe. No alcohol. It was an educational experience. So they all had to do journaling, so you can actually go on.
Yeah, we were at the 10-minute mark, so we gotta extend it. It's meeting extended.
Okay.
I entertain a motion to extend this for another 10 minutes. Jessica,
So moved.
is there a second? Brittany seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Good.
Okay, sorry. I'm almost done. So this is one thing that we had the students do is they had to do photographic journaling. Every single day they had to do photographic journaling of different locations we were going to on the specific field experience tour locations, different cultural things they were doing, different food that they were experiencing, different boroughs they were going to. So it really was them sharing with others who maybe weren't able to go on the trip their experiences. So I had them tag the program. I also had them tag CWU Wildcats. So students on campus that maybe could not go could actually share in the experience. So y'all can go on there and search the hashtags and see all the different pictures, the different places that they went, the different food that they ate. And that was a really great way for us to for me, I would check in every day and see where they were going and what were they doing. And so that was an awesome way for them to share their experiences with people who are not on the trip, on campus, friends, family, people in the industry. We have a lot of people who follow us. So it was a great way to share that. Cost per person. So airfare, we stayed at a hostel. That was a great way to save money for the students. Transportation, we tipped our tour guide. We actually had an educational company set up the tours for us because they have all the industry connections. So we had someone meet us every day and take us around. So their total was $1243.18. That does not include any food or the cost of any cultural experiences they want to do. So the total price for the trip was $25,476.84. So here's our fundraising. We did a Krispy Kreme fundraiser in the fall. Scentsy, we could do an individual fundraiser. So this, we say individual because students could choose whether they wanted to do it or not. And if they did it, they would get the profits from that. So not everyone in the club gets profits from that. It's if you choose to do it. Airfare, we were in the negative. We didn't do very well this year, so that kind of hurt our profits. We do a fairy godmother project where we sell gently used or new prom dresses to high school girls. They range from $5 to $40. It's a big community service thing every year, so we made some money there. We're currently in the works of another Krispy Kreme sale, a car wash. We have academic and club senate, so we did ask money from them also, which has been secured. So we are trying to do as much fundraising as possible. So the average student makes between $40 and $190 on fundraising. It depends on how much they actually are involved. So just because you show up and you help with the fundraiser, we don't divide it equally between everybody. Because if someone comes and they volunteer for an hour and someone's volunteering for 10 hours, our philosophy is why should the person who worked an hour get the same amount as the same person who worked 10 hours? So we actually have a fundraising distribution calculation. We have this in our member handbook that they get the first day of club. So we have our total profits for the fundraiser. 20% of the profits are left with the club, so we can do different events, we can go to different shows, have different activities. And 80% goes back to the student. We figure out the total hours the members have worked for the actual fundraiser. We divide the total profits by the total hours worked to get an actual hourly wage. So what is the overall wage someone would be making per hour after we figured out our profits? So for each person, we calculate the hours that they worked for that specific fundraiser. So that's the total hours worked, so that we can figure out specifically how much they actually made by what's the hourly wage and how many hours they worked.
So when you say hourly wage, you don't actually pay them.
No,
You-
it's
you
how
use
we're-
that to allocate
Yes.
towards their cost of.
So that's
Just
how.
making sure we're
yes.
not bypassing
No, we're not
their
like
laws.
definitely
Okay.
not. Definitely not.
Okay.
This is just how we break down. So we made $260 at
Okay.
Fairy Godmother Project. This is just how we figure out how the money, that fundraising, people are going to get their money back from going on the trip. Because we want to make sure if someone's working really hard and someone's like, I'm here, whatever, like, and don't really do anything, they should not get the same amount. So this just makes it so we figure out, it's a calculation. So it makes it, what you're working for is what you're getting, and it makes it so people work harder. Yeah. But no, they're definitely not getting an hourly
All right,
wage.
I'm
It's just how we
making
figure
sure
things
that-
out.
Okay.
Yes. So our cost savings, we stay at a hostel, not at a hotel. So there's 4 people to a room. We had one gentleman on the trip, he had his own room, so bonus for him. But 4 in a room, there's a shared bathroom in the hallway with the rest of the floor. Breakfast is included in that, it was like a muffin. We fundraise as much as possible, we're still fundraising. We traveled on off days and off times, so we left Ellensburg at 2 a.m. so we could take a really early morning flight. So we tried to do as much cost savings as possible, and the hostel was a really big way to do some cost savings. Questions?
Remind us again what the amount you're asking for reimbursement.
It's $10,000 for over 21 students. And we only ask for money every 3 years. So we rotate between going New York, LA, and a trade show. And so we only ever come to S&A when we go to New York because it's the most expensive one. So, there was a hand.
Do you have a number for per student with and without the money? Do you think?
So what would be 21 students divided by 10,000?
So it's a little under 500.
So a little under 500, and each person paid $12.64. So,
Not counting food.
not counting food and activities. And most I did a little poll, most students on average spent around $350 additional.
So 1264 up front and then 350 in New York.
Yes, on average. Some spent more than others, depending on what they did and where they ate. And most students, they worked more hours, they didn't buy things that they wanted to do before the trip, so they all made a lot of sacrifices. Some got second jobs, part-time jobs, so they could actually pay for the trip. So they did a lot of sacrificing beforehand to pay for everything up front.
So I see that you have roughly $3,500 in your club account,
Yes.
and what's your justification for not using any of those dollars to?
Well, that money is the, sorry, I have this paper over here. So that money is our fundraising. They get it at the end of the year. They don't get it as we do it. So our club account has $34.56, and our committed funding is $39.94. So a lot of that $34.56 will go back to, that's the fundraising that we've done throughout the year. They have to be an active member at the end of the year to get their money.
So basically,
They have to
it
stay
is
involved.
reimbursing them for their expenses of the trip, they just don't get reimbursed for their expenses they paid until.
We give it at the very end of the year, so it makes them stay an active member and keep coming to club and being involved. Because sometimes students drop out, like, oh, I've been on the trip, I got what I wanted. This way they stay involved, and we have a lot of different, like Fairy Godmother Project, Dress a Girl Around the World. We have a lot of other activities in the spring, so it makes it so kind of, they get busy, and this is something that kind of can go wayside. It makes it so they stay active. Yes.
What were some of the cultural experiences? You said Thursday was like optional tours and then Friday. I was
Yeah.
wondering, or if any of you can answer, just what are some cultural things you did on the off days of tours?
Some of you who went to Martha Stewart, the headquarters?
We went to Martha Stewart and we saw the textile design area, so we got to see what goes into like the textiles for Macy's, because Macy's carries Martha Stewart, so that was really cool. And we got to walk around all of Martha Stewart to the area where they shoot the show, the area where they make the textiles and like on the computers, and then we also got to see where they like shoot the like what they were gonna put in the magazines and stuff. And Martha was there an hour before we got there, so we just barely had the opportunity to meet him, but that was really exciting.
What other things did you guys do?
A lot of us went and explored different neighborhoods. So I know DeAndre and Lauren went to Harlem to check out some of the museums and theaters and all that. And some of us went to Soho to kind of get more involved in what New York residents were, where they were shopping, what they were eating, how they were living their daily lives, and Canal Street and Tribeca, just really exploring the different neighborhoods.
Yeah, and kind of to go along with that, Lexi, Lauren, and I, we kind of just explored the city those 2 off days that we had. We went to Brooklyn, we ended up in Queens one day. We went to Harlem, we visited all the little boroughs in Manhattan, and we really just got a feel of the lay of the land and learned the area and really tried to experience all that we could in the neighborhood. I, for instance, really want to take my talents to New York and to try and become an apparel designer there, so I saw it as an opportunity for me to learn the city a little bit. I think I got the subway down, so I'm excited about that. But I had a really fun time out there.
We also went to the World Trade Center Memorial, and that was really cool. It was really eye-opening, and there was like a museum there too, so that was definitely a highlight of the trip.
Thank you all for coming. It's good to see support.
So could you speak a little too about how much of the trip was the actual guided tours with the people from the different stores, and how much of it was just sending out the students to go?
Yeah. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, on average, we had to be in the lobby at 7:30 a.m. ready to go, and we usually got done around 5:30 in the evening. So we toured 4 places a day. So they were very packed days, and they do it very smart the way that they lay out the days, so we're not having to go from one side of the city to the other in between locations. So those 3 days were completely packed days. And then Thursday there was the optional to go to Martha Stewart, and then we also had days where, all right, everybody wants to go to the World Trade Center, let's all go together. We also had, like, a lot of people wanted to experience Serendipity, which is a really famous place in New York City. We all went there one evening together. So there were days where we didn't have the actual field experience tours, where we still did things together. But that's another thing, the photographic journaling. I wanted to see where they were going, what they were doing, and what they were experiencing. And they all wanted to experience something very different. So before we left, everybody had to come up with 3 ideas of where they wanted to go and what they wanted to do and see in New York on our free days. And we actually listed them all out and figured out where we were going to go, what we were going to do. The majority of people, we also did a historic tour on Friday. So it was through an actual company, and we got a tour of New York City. So we went to Bryant Park, we went to the library, which was amazing. I had actually never been there before. We walked around quite a bit. We went to the train station. So that was a really amazing experience. They also they had little samples of different food that's really famous. So the majority, I think almost everybody minus 3 people did that. So that was an awesome experience. We learned a lot of history that we wouldn't have learned otherwise. So,
So the places that came up the list, places to go on the 3 days, were places weighted more for things that would be more like academically, like more relatable to their majors, or is that weighted more, or is it more like what sounds really cool, or what was actually
it was a big variety. So of course they're in New York and they all have things that they want to see. So there was things like, I know a bunch of them want to see the Apollo Theater. Like for some of them, like, I want to do that, and I want to find, and of course they can't go anywhere by themselves. They have to have a buddy. So you have to find someone to come with you there. So for a lot of them, they had very specific things that they wanted to see there. So like everyone wanted to go and see the 9/11 memorial. So that was a really important thing. So different things like that. And like the food and historic. There was a lot of places where people wanted to go. And all right, this is, if you want to do that, this is when we're going, this is where we're going. Like the Brooklyn Bridge, everyone did that Thursday morning. Let's meet down in the lobby. Let's actually experience going across the Brooklyn Bridge. Let's go into Brooklyn and experience another kind of environment and people living and working in Brooklyn. So it really was a big variety. And it really was because they're also unique in their interests. And what they want to do when they graduate and what they wanted to get out of it. So it was very unique on kind of what they all explored. I know quite a few people hung out in Little Italy a lot, or Chinatown a lot. So it really was unique on what they wanted to bring back from the trip.
So all the places you went to though were in some way or another beneficial to your studies? Or
Definitely. Oh yeah, definitely. And they, it was very structured, where you're going, who you're going to be with, this is the curfew, so it was very much structured. That's another reason, like the photographic journaling, I wanted to see, and I wanted them to think about what can I do to really engross myself into this environment and get as much out of it as possible. Because that for me is really important, that they're not just like, awesome, I'm in New York. It's not that kind of a trip. It's what can I get and grow as a professionally, personally, and as a student. For me, that's really important. And they can ask you, I'm very structured with them on what they need to do and how they present themselves. And I got a lot of feedback from the tour companies or the tour places that we went from the company that set it all up, that they got so much positive feedback on how attentive they were in the questions, and so they were very engaged in the field experience locations, which was really nice to see. I used to work in the industry, and I used to have to give tours, and so I know good students and bad students, and they were really good and asked great questions and made some really good connections. I know there's a couple students who are going to look into doing internships for some of the students there, for the locations that we went there.
Are there any further questions? Or vote on this next week.
Thank you so much for letting me come and present to you. Thank you. You guys can all go out the hallway.
All right. With that, we can move to public comment second call.
So typically on the evening of Source, we do a committee dinner to say thank you for all of your time. Last year we did this at Roadhouse. We're curious if you guys would like to do it at the Roadhouse again, or if you would like to have us look into another location. I know that there's the Costa Company and there's the Rodeo City Barbecue that both have areas that are big enough to suit our area, so that's one question. And the other is, last year we allowed people to invite a significant other. If we do go that route, you do need to have a second tab to pay for the significant other, because we can only pay for up to per diem limits, and any alcohol has to be on that other tab as well. So we're looking for input from the committee on how you would like to do this.
When would this be?
On the night of Source?
It's Thursday this year.
Oh, is it?
So what day is that?
It's normally on Thursday. We typically won't meet that Wednesday beforehand because they have the space already reserved for us. So it's May 21st day. So May 20th, yeah.
We still do the thank youing.
Yeah. So it'd be in place of our May 20th meeting.
So it would be on the day of Source.
I think they're saying Source Wednesday.
It'd be on the
It's the
Wednesday.
day
Wednesday.
before Source.
Day
before.
Day before.
Oh, Thursday. We're
Yeah,
doing
day
it
would
on,
be-
instead of meeting here and having
Dinner
a
would be
meeting,
in place
we're
of
doing,
the
same thing.
So dinner's Wednesday.
we're doing a thank you dinner for the committee.
Just making sure I got the day right.
Wednesday the
Yes.
20th.
We'll remind you
Wednesday the
before.
20th.
That was
Is it at 5:30?
What?
Is the dinner at 5:30? Is it same time?
It would be the same
Same
time
time,
unless
okay.
you all as a committee decide to move that.
Is there a motion on the table?
So we're looking for feedback is, one, would you like to change the location from, what did I say,
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse to one of the other two alternate locations? And two, no McDonald's, I nixed that now.
Taco
And
truck?
would you like to bring, a significant other date or partner, whatever?
Have it open to
Yes. Open to bring
family
somebody
or
else.
others.
I don't like the new French fries at the store.
Those are good.
Little
You-
skinny ones?
Those are so good. You get the Chipotle, like the.
You didn't judge the entire establishment on the way to cut the potatoes.
You could also order something not very
Alright.
nice, but we have no strong attachment to the Roadhouse.
Yeah. So yes, I mean, we're more interested in, is it a facility that'll house an area big enough for the committee, and if we open it up to inviting a guest, then that means something like the pasta company or, Rodeo City Barbecue, both have rooms
I was
big
just
enough.
kidding.
Well, maybe we should do it in the reverse order to figure out the space. Would we want to have it open to just the committee members present, or do we want to allow for family or significant other? Because that would also depend on the size we need for the location. I have no idea what you said.
Bring your kids up and stuff.
I know you. Just play with it. There you know Brittany, so.
Because we need to start making the arrangements
Yeah.
for this.
Well, I know I'm not bringing anybody, so I don't care.
I was like, is that about saying no one gets to bring?
No, I have somebody that was
represented.
represented. My girlfriend's at WSU. And actually she'll be on the west side.
Wait, you said you.
She'll graduate.
What? Wait, still.
I'm not gonna make that advice.
Pretender, yeah.
That I have to pay for it?
Yourself.
Just kidding.
Tell me about it.
Okay,
I wanna hear this.
shall we take a vote on
What the hell?
bringing a guest or not bringing a guest?
I don't have to.
So no
Leave
guests
Rachel.
or not?
Now, are you bringing one? Do we want to open it up to allow others to bring family or guests?
You don't have to bring
You don't have to.
Oh.
Yeah.
So everybody.
No need to stress on finding a date for the dinner.
Alright,
Yeah, at least we have dates for this.
I entertain a motion. That we open it up to allowing to bring a significant other and or family if you so choose.
Should I vote?
Do we actually have to vote on this? Is this
Yes.
public
He's just trying to
comment?
make-
I just want to know,
Yes.
raise
trying
your
to make
hand
it-
if you guys want, yes.
And this is all on air.
Nick.
isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
Is there a second? Sarah seconds. All those in favor? Any opposed? Alright, there we go.
It's mostly so
So
me
now I
and
gotta
Sharon
find a
making all
date.
this.
No, you don't have to find a date.
All right, so listen,
I'll give you a date.
You gotta pay for the date.
Joey
You just
and I
pay for
have
your
to
date.
make the reservations, so if you want to bring a guest,
Let you
you
know.
need to send us an email, okay?
So
That's
we
all
have-
I need to know.
We don't need a name.
You don't have to commit to.
Yeah. You can just say plus plus.
Pick one up.
Oh my God. This is gonna be good.
So then, if I bring a date, I have to pay for them.
Yeah.
Or they should pay for themselves.
Yeah.
What is
But
it?
technically,
What a
you're
tragedy
free.
that would be.
So technically,
That's
you're
right.
free, but not
You could
So-
split it.
You can.
Can I get this slip, please? Alright,
Okay,
we're good to
Matt.
It's
go.
literally on camera.
Location.
location, roadhouse or alternate?
Taco truck. Anybody else?
Seconds.
I don't think the porch has a big enough
That might not be
area.
on Christmas.
Well, yeah.
And the
I
porch
mean,
is
we
kind
can
of
observe
limited.
it, but I don't know.
What about the?
Well, really, just so you all know, anything for your meal that goes over per diem cost, you would pay.
What is what is our
Yeah, what is it?
what is our allotment?
Wasn't it like 20
Yeah, I
bucks?
think it's 21.
Yeah, it
Oh.
wasn't.
So essentially, if your meal is $25, you're paying the four.
What about Oyama?
Oh, that's good. That's kind of a
If
good
we
idea.
just went with our group though, we'd probably have to get
John's
two
on a
girls.
motion?
Cause don't they hold 8 people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to split, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Especially if you brought others.
Oh yeah.
We'd most likely be put in their back little room and we wouldn't do the,
They have a back room?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd fit in the back room.
yeah. We just wouldn't be sitting at the grills.
And
I
if
mean,
we overflowed, they'd have booths there, so we can actually just. I mean,
Like
we
8
might
different tables.
put John in a corner by himself, but
That's okay. I like sushi. I just be by myself.
Because you don't have a date.
I know no dates. Is there a motion on the table?
I thought you were making one, so that was that whole thing.
Yeah, let's synchronize that.
Josh says Roadhouse. Are there any disagreements with Roadhouse?
Well, we already know
That's
how
a
Renee
good
feels
job
about the
motion.
fries.
That's what
so.
I think of waffle fries. I second Josh's motion. Roadhouse.
That was a motion, yeah.
We voting?
oh, any discussion?
Yeah.
All those in favor? Any
Okay.
opposed? John Deehan opposes.
Oh, yeah, I'm a
I'm
Alright,
excited for
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
So Roadhouse.
We're done.
I'm bringing a date.
5:30 on the 20th of May.
She paid for herself.
No,
If
you
you
can't.
don't have a date.
If you're married, yes, you must bring a date.
That's
What's that mean?
So we would really just need to know if you're bringing anyone. We don't need to, again, need to know who, but we need to know the numbers by the week beforehand. So we'll remind you all
Can I
so
tell
we
you?
can make a
Can I
reservation.
tell you right now? I'll bring somebody.
Sure.
You can, yeah.
I'm bringing somebody.
All right.
Okay. You're very confident in
Is it
this
Rachel or
plus
someone
one.
else?
I would get in trouble if I don't.
You better show up in a tux.
Yeah.
Jerry Fries.
All right.
Tell her it's formal.
I might be a little late. I get yelled at again on that Wednesday because I'm not going
It's
to
an
dinner.
anniversary.
No.
So if I'm getting yelled at, I'm gonna be.
Well, we'll see what kind of
Do you want us to
When's the
like bring
concert?
the church thrower?
I mean, I got invited that day. I didn't buy my ticket.
May 15th?
Well, I just don't want to. I like by the time I put this on at like 7:30 in the morning, and
Oh yeah,
I'm not Joey Bryant, so I can't wear a tie without like feeling like.
So you just
dying.
unbutton the top button. You can't.
I can't. I know.
Can we move for adjournment?
Yeah.
This
I
might
was
still be
thinking-
his public car. I don't know.
I thought we were just hanging out. You guys don't like.
We're still here.
You guys don't want to.
Let's get on YouTube too.
I entertain a motion to adjourn the
They are
meeting.
recording.
I know. Yeah. It's all part of the meeting still at this point.
I entertain a motion
How
to
dare to come on.
adjourn the meeting. Josh, is there a second? Renee seconds. All those in favor? Any opposed? Any meeting adjourned at 6:15.